We've been on many cruises, and we often see cruisers in tears because of decisions that they made on embarkation day. Today, we're going to give you these 7 things you must do when getting on a cruise ship and 1 thing to avoid. Hey everybody, what's up? My name is Jordan.
And I'm Jared.
And this is JJ Cruise. Thank you so much for joining the video today. Today we are going to talk about the 7 top cruise tips that you need to do to make sure you have a smooth cruise as soon as you get on board. And the 1 thing that you must avoid at all costs. But before we get into that, we want to just invite you to join us and subscribe to the channel.
Yes, it's completely free to you. It means the world to us. And from our analytics, only 25% of you are subscribed. So please hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up while you're at it. So the day has finally come. It is cruise day. You're getting on board that cruise ship. It is embarkation day. And you're thinking, did I get everything ready for this big epic day? This day is actually the most important day of your cruise, because if it's not set up for success, it will not happen the way you want your cruise to go.
For most cruisers, on embarkation day, they get on the ship and they go immediately to a buffet or a bar. Their mistake is they start drinking before they start thinking. And we're going to share these things with you that are essential to set yourself up for a great cruise. To get into it here, let's just start off with point number 1. And this is something that you're going to do before you ever step foot on the actual ship. That is pack your carry-on or cruise bag that you will take onto the ship with you. This is not your checked luggage that you're going to hand off to the porter. This is the bag that is essential for getting on the ship. Now, in this bag, you're going to put your passport, your cruise documents, any needed medication, as well as any type of vaccine information or COVID-19 testing requirements that may be required by your home country. We know that many ports have done away with that, but this channel is viewed by people all over the world. And there is still some cruise ports that do require vaccine and testing paperwork.
We like to add a few other things to that carry-on luggage, such as a swimsuit, some sunscreen, some additional tip money for the porter, as well as any crew that help you out on day 1. But we know there's a lot more that people like to put in their carry-on bag. Feel free to comment below anything else you like to add to your carry-on luggage. For point number 2, this is when you step foot on your cruise ship. Right away, you should be turning on airplane mode. And this is so that you can get onto the Wi-Fi. A lot of people don't realize that most cruise ship Wi-Fis don't work without turning on your airplane mode. What's the reason for this? Well, you don't want to be at sea and racking up a lot of data charges on your cell phone plan and not have a clue about it. So a lot of cruise lines require you to turn on the airplane mode so you can get on their free Wi-Fi.
You're going to need that free Wi-Fi for some of these other things that we talk about. The 3rd thing that you should do on embarkation day is immediately look at your dining options to look to see if any of your dining requires a reservation. If you have like a flexible My Time or Anytime dining for a main dining room, a lot of those venues now do require you make a reservation. So you need to get on the app to look to see what time you want to have dining if you need to select it, and make reservations for any specialty dining that you want to have. Now that cruise ships are back to full capacity, dining venues are selling out. If there's a specific steakhouse or specialty dining restaurant experience that you want to have, you have to make sure that is on your schedule for your cruise when you get on embarkation day. These are first come, first serve reservations. And so if you wait till day 2 or 3, there's a chance that restaurant that you really want to eat at is unfortunately going to be sold out. We make it a point to get our dining all set and taken care of before we ever eat or drink anything on embarkation day. If you have any issues making reservations on the app, or maybe the specific cruise line that you're on doesn't do app reservations, you of course can go to that specific restaurant, talk to the maitre d', and get your dining set up that way.
The 4th thing you need to do on embarkation day is look at entertainment activities. If there are any shows or activities that need reservations in advance, you should do that on day 1. Now, a lot of times you can do this on the app, but if not via the app, you can go ahead and call a box office line, or maybe even go to a venue that is notated in the schedule, in your cruise compass, if you will, for booking those show reservations. Another cruise tip that we like to recommend is booking the first available showing of a show you want to see. The reason for this is we have cruised a lot and we have seen a lot of cancellations because of rough seas, rough weather, or maybe there was something wrong with the show, maybe the animatronics or anything regarding the show itself, and that might cancel one of the showings. The worst thing possible is for you to find out that you have the last showing and it gets canceled and you were really looking forward to that show. So we highly recommend doing the first showing, and then you have the best chance possible of seeing that show for your cruise.
Now, there are a lot of additional places on a cruise ship outside of just dining and entertainment venues. There are also places like the spa, the art gallery, and the casino. These 3 different places on the ship typically will have something special the first day of the cruise. For example, most cruise ships have a spa giveaway and a spa manager special that they will give you only if you sign up on day 1. If the spa, casino, or art gallery are places that you think you may frequent during your cruise, we would recommend going to each of these places to see the host or the manager, just to find out what specials are going on and what activities they may have lined up for you during the week.
The 6th thing to do on embarkation day is check on your excursions or book a new excursion if you haven't booked one already. Excursions are first come, first serve, just like a lot of things we've mentioned on this list. And so even if you have excursions already pre-planned, it's always ideal to check to see if any of your excursions have been canceled or delayed, so you can rebook another excursion in case if you have to do so. Obviously, we hate having an excursion cancel, but being prepared for it in advance to where you know what you want to book instead while it's available is the best form to making sure your cruise goes without a hitch.
The last thing on your list is actually not something that's optional, but it is required by maritime law, and that is completing your muster drill. If you're new to cruising, a muster drill is a drill that you must take part of that basically walks you through what would happen if, well, anything were to happen to the ship. It is the location that you would go in case of an emergency, and that location can typically be found on your app or on the back of your door. Do this when you get on the ship right away so you don't have to worry about the hassle or trouble that the cruise line may give you if you don't actually get this done. It's important, it is required, and it will set your cruise into smooth sailing right away.
Those were all the things you must do on embarkation day, but there's one thing you have to avoid, and that is showing up to the port without checking in. All these cruise lines have a form of online check-in, whether it's through their app or through their website, to ensure that you have smooth sailing on embarkation day. No pun intended. The thing that is best for checking in online is that you get the best boarding times, but you also get all the information on what to bring on your day of embarkation. This can include, of course, your passport, but it also can include vaccination records if you need it, or maybe you'll actually have to have a COVID-19 negative test. These are things that will be noted in your check-in process, and if you don't do a check-in before getting to the port, you may have a rude awakening of something that is required that you didn't know about and then not be able to go on your cruise.
We have heard horror and nightmare stories about people that didn't check in before getting to the port and show up ill-prepared without the proper documentation or without things that they absolutely have to have in order to get on the ship. Of course, if something goes haywire and you cannot check in until you get to the port, you must have all of the needed documentations to go through that process smoothly. But this is why we say avoid it at all costs and just do it at home to try and ensure that you are going to have no problems when arriving to the port. It is vital to wanting to have a smooth and easy embarkation process, and we could not recommend checking in online enough.
Those were our top tips for embarkation day, the things you must do and the one thing to avoid. But we do this all the time as travel agents as well. We help our clients make sure that they have smooth sailings on board their cruise. So if you have any interest in booking your first ever cruise or maybe your 100th cruise, feel free to email us at jj@lovelandnc.com. It's also in the description below, so feel free to email us for any upcoming cruise reservations.
Thank you so much for watching today, and until next time,
See ya.
Change